Today's topic is about building a smarter media marketplace. First, I would like to thank you for inviting me here. I'm glad to be here. My name is Yuling Ma. I'm a CTO of FreeWheel. I had about 20 plus years experience in software development. Spent most of my time working on data-related software development. In recent years, I moved to advertising technology field. So FreeWheel is part of Comcast Advertising. Comcast Advertising is the advertising arm of Comcast Cable. It has two primary businesses, Effective and FreeWheel. Effective is the sales arm, and FreeWheel is a technology firm that provides advertising technology and platforms to publishers, advertisers, and media buyers, specialized in video and premium TV. Let me give you a brief introduction of FreeWheel. So FreeWheel have about 19 offices across the globe. We have about 1,500 people. Every year, there's 300 billion impressions run through our platform. About 90% of US MVPD and programmers run their business on our platform. Every year, about $50 billion ad spending runs through our system, which is about 25% of all US ad spending, which is huge. Our major focus is just one. So we want to make TV industry success. That's all we want to do. So FreeWheel built a global advertising platform. We provide full campaign management from forecasting to planning to trafficking. Our platform provides integrated workflow for inventory management. We have an open architecture to connect external data. And ultimately, we want to connect the buy side and sell side in one platform. Because we have a comprehensive platform capabilities, many major premium publishers choose FreeWheel platform as their default platform. You can recognize a lot of names here. So many famous names you can see, when every day you see your television. Let's look at this graph. This graph shows digital ad spending over the last 10 years. And it's also same time you can see the yellow line. That's the world data created over the last 10 years. The increase of the data is tremendous over the last 10 years. So what data can do for us in the advertising industry? So data is the connective tissue of media advertising business. The data allow advertisers to target precise audience to improve the efficiency of ad spending. Data allows the media company to enrich their inventory by adding more features so that inventory actually worth more money. The data can help to better control the viewer frequency, cross-screen and platform to reduce the waste. And data also can help us to run platform more efficiently. So in later slides, I will show more scenarios and problems that data and machine learning can help in the advertising industry. So FreeWheel vision is to be a data-driven marketplace to connect the buyer and sellers. Who are the buyers? Buyers are those companies who want to buy media inventories, and sellers are those companies who want to sell inventories. A company can be buyers and sellers at the same time, depending on the business they run. So buyers want to access premium inventory at scale and control the inventory buying based on audience and identity. And they also want to manage the reach and the frequency across the screen, channels, and the platforms. Ultimately, buyers want to minimize the cost and also drive the efficiency. So on the seller side, seller want to expose their inventory to drive the demand and manage the inventory holistically across different sales channels and enrich the inventory so that inventory can be much more valuable. And ultimately, for sellers, they want to drive the yield and margin. So FreeWheel is in the middle, enable both sides, make the connection. So then the question is, what machine learning can do in the ad industry? The answer is simple, a lot. So let's look at some common problems of buyers and sellers, and also as a platform, what problems we need to solve. So advertising business handles information about the future. The entire business flow with the uncertainty of a future inventory and the future demand. The question is how to operate with these uncertainties. So it's always there. You really cannot have a precise data when it's ready. So then what's the problem for the buyer need to face and the seller need to face? So for buyers, they want to know how much demand do I have? So that means we need to have a demand forecasting. And then they also need to answer the question, how do I acquire inventory from sellers? Should I buy upfront or should I buy scattered, on demand? Then this needs investment planning. And also demand, buyer side also want to know how should I ensure campaign delivered successfully? Then this need campaign planning and execution management. On the seller side, it's similar. Seller want to know how much inventory do I have? How much, can I sell? And how should I sell? Should I sell through upfront or should I sell, at later stage with higher price, but taking more risk? And then ultimately they want to have a maximize their yield. So they need a yield optimization. And for campaign delivery, it's same thing. Buy side and sell side also need to ensure the campaign delivered on time, on pacing, and also have a right impression number. So FreeWheel is a platform to enable the buyer and seller. So as a FreeWheel, as a platform, what should we care? We care a lot. We want to match the supply and demand efficiently. We also want to control the targeting and control the frequency. And then we also want to reduce the operational cost. And also at the same time, we want to make sure the inventory flow from our platform has high quality and also entire system run in a healthy mode. Then all these things need machine learning to answer. So let's look at a concrete example. So inventory forecasting. This is one of the key problems we need to solve in the ad industry, and also one of the hardest to solve. Because inventory forecasting, what does that mean? You need to predict, for example, in a month, how many viewers actually watch TV or watch the video. How can you so sure? So this is a very hard question to answer. And in the digital advertising industry, ad inventory is usually measured by the number of impressions. What is impression? The impression is a viewer see an ad. So that's kind of one impression. So basically the inventory means the future viewership times the ad capacity. So the ad capacity is a known value to the system. It is fixed. Basically, you can view it as a constant. So the future viewership is really something we need to predict. And it is hard. Why it's so important to have an inventory forecasting? I can give you an example. So for a seller and a buyer reach a deal they want to sell 1 million impressions at the price of $10 CPM. So if our prediction, and this selling 1 million is based on prediction. So if the prediction is correct, that will be perfect. Then, the buyer can meet their KPI requirement because they want to reach 1 million viewers. And for the seller, they will get $10,000 as a revenue. Then, however, the real life doesn't always match the prediction. So what if in some time of period, there are more people watching TV? What does that mean? That means we have more impressions. Say we have a 1.5 million actual impressions, but we only predict 1. And then the seller only sell 1 million. In this case, the demand side, the buyer doesn't care because that buyer's KPI can be met. However, the seller actually lose 500,000 opportunity. They actually can make more money, but they didn't. So they didn't reach their full potential. And on the other hand, what if our prediction is larger than the actual impression? So we have less viewer actually see the TV. So that means really we cannot fulfill, the seller cannot fulfill buyer's need. We cannot fulfill, the 1 million impression. In this case, either the contract get broken or the seller have to buy other inventory from other sellers, which is normally very expensive. So in this case, the seller will lose money. So you can see in all these scenarios why the accuracy of inventory forecasting is extremely important in the business. And it's also very hard problem to solve. So we use machine learning to predict the viewership in FreeWheel. There are basically 3 steps. The first step is collect the data. The second step is extract the features and expand the features. And the third step is train the models. So for the first step, collect the data. We used the proprietary data we have, like ad server delivery information and plus some third-party commercial rating data together. And then we use this data to extract features. However, these data are not enough. We want to expand the features by adding more data. For example, the public data as the census data. Then we can add more demo information for a certain area, what is the income, what the people percentage looks like, something information like that. And also add the programming data, which is described at what time, what channel will play what program. So with these information, the data can be enriched and we have more features. Then we're ready to train the model. The problem is not that simple because the business scenario varies. One scenario is for upfront deals. What is upfront deals? That is, buy the, bulk of inventory over 1 year period. So during this situation, the buy side and sell side want to have 18 months prediction. So that for us, that really means we need to process more than 18 months of data. It's a huge data, and then we need to process and give the prediction. So during this, in this scenario, we use neural network model to train our data and generate result. In other scenario, for example, for the viewership prediction for one particular campaign, usually one campaign only show in a couple of channels and also lasts only several weeks. Then the data, amount of data is much smaller. And in this case, we will use the decision tree to train our model. So that's why it varies. It's not just the one size fits all, but we prepare the data, expand the features. That's make the system ready. And then when we at the time of solving particular problem, we will choose the right model for right problem. And there's an interesting special event you can see. This year, in a couple of weeks, the Tokyo Olympic will happen. Normally during those special events, we have a special model to handle that. And same thing for last year, the presidential debate. For those 4 days, 4 nights have a presidential debate. We actually train the model to predict. The good thing is our model works very well. The predict is very consistent with the actual result. So with the inventory forecasting result, so we can do a lot more things with these data. As I mentioned, planning, portfolio level planning actually can, both buyer and the seller need portfolio planning, which means they want to know how to sell, how to buy, through which channel to sell, and how much, what is combination. So these are portfolio level planning. And we use the inventory forecasting data as a seed to the portfolio planning. And the planning itself is also use a machine learning methodology to do that. And same thing, we use the inventory forecasting as input to predict campaign, to do the campaign level planning as well. So I'm not going to dive into more in this. So what else machine learning can do in the ad industry? A lot more. Improved operational efficiency is another topic. I can use FreeWheel as an example. Our system is huge. We actually have 1 billion, so the impression at the billion number. So we actually have billions of requests go through our system every day. So then you can imagine how big our system is. There are several thousand nodes running at any minute, second. So if we can reduce the bid request go through our system, that means the savings to our system cost. Then we work on the bid request optimization, use machine learning model to take the input of where the bid request coming from and what we are bidding for. Use these features to see what is the win rate, what is the chance to win. If the chance is too low, we just don't bid, and then we drop the bid request, reduce the system load. Given that, we use machine learning. We use machine learning to do this model prediction and reduce the system cost by 20%. This is a huge money because it's millions of dollars for us. And on the manual side, we actually use machine learning to reduce the manual effort and also reduce the manual error. I can give you an example. We actually need to allow our client to enter the order and also place the order to buy inventory. And then how can make them life easier? If for them, view through all the possible inventory flow through our marketplace is not easy. So we need to use machine learning to build a model to have a recommendation to them to see, based on your request, these are possible ways for you to buy. So make their life much easier and the buying will be much faster. So these are, the area that we use machine learning to improve the operational efficiency. This is another area that we can use machine learning, which is inventory quality and the system health. Inventory quality is extremely important. If there's for advertising, what is the key? Because we want to have a real person see the ads. And then that's the very important thing we need to achieve. What if somebody use a machine to generate those view requests to us? That means we actually send the, ad to a machine, not a human. So we want to detect those cases, and we want to eliminate those traffic from our system. And also sometimes is like TV is on, but it's actually nobody is watching. The TV is there, is sitting in one channel for more than 2 hours. Then how can we detect those? We actually use machine learning model to detect whether it's a real traffic, whether it's whether it's an invalid traffic. So we basically develop like pre-decisioning invalid traffic detection and also post-decisioning invalid traffic detection. Both are machine learning methodology, but pre-decisioning is simpler because we need to have a lower latency. But after, we can have a more comprehensive detection. But it's both needed in the system. That will reduce the load to the system and ensure the quality. Another side is about the system health. With billions of requests run through our system every day, how can we use human to monitor the system, whether the system is healthy or not? It's almost impossible task to run. So we use machine learning model to analyze the traffic pattern by channel, by time, by different client. And then we can see whether the traffic pattern is normal. If it's not normal, then we need to alert our engineers, look at the system to see whether there's any misconfiguration happen, or is there any external system incident happens. Then we can react quickly to fix the issue. In the ad industry, any second, any minute means money. So these are very critical to our system and also critical to our client. So in summary, the machine learning is very useful in the ad industry. And in FreeWheel, we apply machine learning in many different places. But in general, in two big areas. One is to try to maximize the business goal for our client, for both buyers and sellers. Another is to reduce the operational cost for ourselves and ensure our system runs smoothly and make sure our client run their business successfully. Okay, that is all. Thank you very much.